Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Another week, NFL Week 15 in the books. We're going to talk about Week 16, Thursday Night Football's crazy finish last night. And then we're going to talk about Burrow. We're going to talk about Mahomes. And we're going to give you a preview of the rest of Week 16 matchups. See you on a bit. All right. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully everyone had a good week and is ready to have an even better weekend. I know we got the holidays coming up, so it's been a little wild over here, but let's get right to it. Let me pull it up here. All right. Okay. Thursday Night Football. What a crazy, crazy finish. My midseason Super Bowl pick, Rams, faced off with the only other team that was there that could compete with them for the first place in the NFC altogether, not to mention they are in the same conference. I expected the Rams to win just because Matthew Stafford is my MVP, and I still think the Rams are going to be the Super Bowl favorite for the NFC. And as y'all know, I've been giving Bradford a lot of flack. I said he can't win the big one. And if y'all seen the game last night, he threw 2 interceptions, so you were going to be like, here we go again. And if you remember, the first time they played, he threw 4 interceptions, right? Then you talk about his playoffs where he threw 4 interceptions with the Vikings. So I have been a harsh critic of Sam Darnold. I keep saying Bradford. Sam Darnold, right? But yesterday he showed up. He didn't have the prettiest stats. He did throw 2 interceptions, only about 247 yards passing, 240 yards passing. And but at the end of the day, he came in clutch. He came in with that 2-point conversion that they desperately needed. And the coach believed in him that much, instead of just being safe, kicking the field goal, accepting the tie, which would have put the Rams still ahead of them in the division, right? In the NFC West, right? They went for it too. They were going for all the marbles, and Bradford delivered. Now, the Rams want to talk about certain calls that didn't go their way, that they say changed the shape of the game. But at the end of the day, the Seahawks just were the better team. I don't think that's going to translate in the playoffs. I still think the Rams are going to push through, and I absolutely think Matthew Stafford is the MVP. I mean, look at his stats. Over 450 yards passing. Let me see his official stats real quick. Yeah, 457 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 0 interceptions. Yesterday's game, it just seems like the Rams defense could not stop Seattle. That was the bottom line. This was no fault of Matt Stafford's. I mean, 457 yards. That's why he's my MVP, and that's why I believe the Rams are going to go all the way, right? Let me get some water, y'all. And let's talk about other stats, right? 26 first downs for the Rams, 22 for the Seahawks. Of course, the 457 passing yards, 244 for the Seahawks, 124 rushing yards for the Rams, and 171 rushing yards for the Seahawks. The Seahawks are the best run defense in the league, and they held the Rams' best rusher, Kyren Williams, to only 70 yards, 0 touchdowns. So they did what they were supposed to do. It really came down to the quarterbacks. And I don't want to say that Bradford played better, right? Because Sam Darnold. I don't want to say that he played better, but he made the plays that he needed to make to win them the game, right? Because at the end of the day, he did throw 2 interceptions, and I still feel like, I mean, Stafford didn't even get sacked. I mean, he is just, his pocket presence, everything is just tremendous. But what I'm saying is, I gotta lay off the Darnold criticism for now, because this was his first big game that he won, in my opinion, in a long time. This was the first meaningful game that he won, and because of that, they will probably take the division. So he finally won when it matters, right? And now you can start to question Minnesota. Hey, did we make the right decision in letting him go? I don't know. I think that Minnesota did let him go because I still think he has to do this in the playoffs. If even you win one playoff game, I think a lot of the critics around the media world will lay off of you can't win the big one, right? Just win one playoff game and don't crash out and throw 4 or 5 interceptions. But you did good today, Mr. Darnold. We got to give you the utmost respect. And that 2-point conversion in overtime was epic, you know? So, shoot, man, you know? And, you know, Stafford does what he does. But this was a crazy, crazy game for this division. And it looks like the Seahawks are going to take it away. What a way to start Week 16. All right, let me give him the DJ horn for that. Hey, good job, Seahawks. All right, so let's go to the matchups now. All right. Yeah, that's just going to be a boo already. You know what I'm saying? I mean, uh-oh. Is my sound not going through for my sound effects? Whatever. We're not going to stop this stream. The Eagles, they did good against the Raiders. Daniels is done. They were undermatched to begin with everyone healthy. You know what I'm saying? It just... Let me see. Oh, are my sounds working? Hold up. No, forget it. Anyway, I'll see afterwards if my sounds are working. But, you know, this game is pretty much pointless. Eagles are going to run through it. Daniels has been shut down for the rest of the year. This is what we thought. This is what we anticipated. This is what I was always, everyone always answered that question, is it worth playing him the rest of the year? And now they finally shut him down. I think they should have done it earlier. But again, you have to worry about the season ticket holders. You have to worry about, you know, the people who came to pay money to see Daniels play. He's an electrifying player. He's a great quarterback. Well, I guess you can't call him great yet because he still has a few more years to prove himself. But at the end of the day, this one will be easy for the Eagles, especially if they keep all their starters in. I don't know how they're going to play. I mean, they're still jockeying for position in the NFC, but I feel like they're pretty much a lock in the playoffs. So it remains to be seen how they do it. But at the end of the day, I think this will be an easy win for the Eagles. And unfortunately, our season is done. You know, I gave them the salute a couple weeks ago or last week, you know. So it is what it is. It's depressing, but this little NFC East matchup, it looks like it's going to go to the Eagles. All right. The Bears and the Packers. Wow. As I called last time they played a couple weeks ago, Green Bay edged them out. Not by much, but they edged them out. And at the end of the day, it's just because I just feel like they're the overall better team and they have more experience. The Bears are still kind of young and they're having an excellent year, but do you expect them to beat someone like Green Bay that's more experienced? They have Jordan Love, who's had a few years under his belt. But the caveat that was for last week. The caveat for this week is Micah Parsons is gone. I didn't see him as a difference maker this whole year, and I agreed with Jerry Jones for letting him go. But as the last few games have shown, he's starting to make an impact. And just when he started to make his presence known and actually make an impact on defense, he gets hurt. He's out for the whole year. Not okay. It just sucks because, there's really no room for error in the NFC when you got the Eagles and you got the Rams and you got a couple other teams, including the Bears, jockeying for position. The Green Bay, they've been kind of walking a tightrope this year. They haven't really been consistent. I mean, they've been pulling through, right? They have a good record, but they haven't really had a convincing win to what people expected them. A lot of people, including myself, were calling them to go to the Super Bowl, right? So now with them losing Micah, and just to remind y'all, I abandoned them midway through the season and went to the Rams. So anyway, because of that, I feel like the Packers are going to make the playoffs, but they're not going to be as dominant, number one. So let's not get ahead of ourselves, right? I think the Bears will take this one. Without Parsons harassing Williams, I think the Bears take this one. One of the reasons why everyone thought the Packers would go as far as we expected them to go was because of the addition of Parsons. He was supposedly the missing piece, right? So with him out, they're still a good team. They're still going to go to the playoffs, but now with the momentum that the Bears have, even though they're youthful, I'm going to have to give this one to the Bears. So, typical battle for that division. Crowded division. And, the NFC North, in my opinion, now with Micah gone, will go to the Bears in general. And this game, the Bears win. So, all right. So, who we got next? Two teams that literally are playing like they don't want to win the division. I mean, both of them had ample opportunities. And guess who spoiled it? The Saints. The New Orleans Saints. So, I don't even know who to pick in this game. I don't even know who to pick. I mean, they're so evenly matched, and they both have been inconsistent. Well, remember, we can't forget about how we didn't even expect Carolina to be there, right? We didn't even expect Carolina to be in a position to win this division, right? But they were doing good, and then with the Bucks sliding, we thought it was theirs to win. And same with the Bucks. I mean, it's just every time we think one team is going to run away with it, they take a step back, right? And that goes also with the same division as the Pittsburgh and the Ravens, but we'll talk about that later. So because of that, I don't even know who to pick in this game. I guess we can flip a coin, and I guess I'll go with the Bucks. I'll go with the Bucks, because the Panthers weren't even supposed to be that good this year. So, but they've exceeded all expectations. Bryce Young's excellent stats, 2,500 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions. Whereas Baker Mayfield, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 200 and almost 3,000 yards. I'm sorry. So 2,999, that's what they got on here on NFL.com. 2,999 yards. So 61.2% completion percentage, I'm sorry. And then you got Bryce Young, 63.3 completion percentage. So, I mean, they're both having good years. But who wants it more? That's what it boils down to. Who wants the NFC South more? I don't see either team making a deep playoff run, but damn, at least come out of your division when it was pretty much handed to you. So, but I will go with the Bucks just because their slide has to stop eventually. That's going to be my pick. So, all right, the Bills and the Browns. Check this out. With the Chiefs out of the picture, I made a whole short about it. The AFC is wide open. But what did I say last week? As good as the Patriots are, I'm going to pick the Bills in that game simply because of the MVP, the former MVP. He could probably win it again this year, even though I got Stafford. Josh Allen. He is the true difference maker. He is the top 2 or 3 quarterback in the league, right? Because of that, this could be the Bills' year. Yes, their defense is suspect, okay? But it's now or never that the Bills got to go to the Super Bowl. Now or never. Unless if they figure out a way to make their defense better. But, I mean, the AFC is wide open. And as far as this match is concerned, I think it's going to be an easy win for the Bills. They're just too good. They're 10-4. Cleveland has so much internal drama. I mean, they even said last week they forgot Shadur's wristband. How do you forget your starting quarterback's wristband? I mean, if it ain't a conspiracy theory, I don't know what is. Like this is a joke. Stefanski needs to go. 2-time coach of the year. I'm sorry, bro. You're out of there. And they need to give Shadur a full year under his belt to play with an organized situation, right? But with that said, it doesn't matter. They're facing the Bills. You got Cook and you got Allen that will literally run for 2 touchdowns apiece. And then Josh Allen will throw for 3 more touchdowns. I mean, he's a stat machine. I know the fantasy football players love Josh Allen, right? So with that said, one of the top offenses in the league, and their defense is, whatever, right? This will be an easy game for them, and this is the Bills' year to take full advantage now that Mahomes is out of the picture, now that the Chiefs are out of the picture. So, easy win for this one. Not much to say here. And, just, hopefully Shador can do something just to look good for himself, But, yeah, good luck, y'all. Good luck, Cleveland. I would like to see Myles Garrett go up against Josh Allen. They're both big dudes. Obviously, Myles is much bigger, but that's going to be a nice matchup to see them two go against each other. So, yeah. All right. The Chargers versus the Cowboys. Or should I say the Cowgirls? All right. I don't know if my sound effects are working, y'all. But anyway, this one will go to the Chargers. I know Dallas likes to play spoiler, and at any given moment, Dak Prescott can throw for 4 touchdowns with CeeDee Lamb out there. And Pickens, I'm sorry. Let me double check to make sure. Who was on the injury report? Oh, yeah, everybody's good to go, it looks like. So, they could play spoiler. And the Chargers, they still haven't convinced me that they're a consistent team, And then when you face these teams like Dallas that have nothing to play for, that want to ruin everything, this is where your championship pedigree stands out, right? Can you make light work of them and get them out of there? Or are they going to give you a lot of problems to where you might even lose the game? Is Herbert going to stay consistent? Is the defense going to stay consistent? Because their defense is really, really good. The Chargers I'm talking about, right? How can they do against Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, So who knows? I don't know which Chargers are going to show up, but I'm definitely going to give this one to them. They're only behind Denver. in the AFC West, especially now that the Chiefs are out. And I'm going to say that throughout this podcast because, yeah, the Chiefs, man, that's a tough break. Wishing Mahomes a speedy recovery. But anyway, they're second in the AFC West to Denver, 2 games back, and they really have to win out and just to show some form of consistency. So they have to beat Dallas. If they don't, they will be, again, called pretenders, which is what I call the Chargers. I call them the pretenders, because they had a good record last year. Herbert tanked in the playoffs. Now you got Harbaugh, the coach. He's supposed to fix that. He fixed the defense, of course. And their offense is doing pretty decent. But at the end of the day, can they win when it matters? That remains to be seen. And I really think they need to make a last end of the year push to position themselves properly in the playoffs. So, but this game goes to the Chargers. Do I even want to talk about this? I don't even want to waste my time. New Orleans Saints, they're spoiling everybody in their division, but trying to throw a monkey wrench. The Jets are the Jets, they bench Fields. The coach, Aaron Glenn, fired the defensive coordinator. Like, it doesn't even matter if you fire the defensive coordinator. You're going to get fired too, The Jets are horrible. Saints, horrible. Some of these games, I guess you just do it for the fans. But, I'm in playoff mode. And these are professional players, so no disrespect, but both these teams are just terrible, and it doesn't even matter who wins this game. But New Orleans, you did some damage in your own division, so hopefully that counts for something. Man. So next, this is an interesting matchup. Minnesota Vikings versus the New York Giants. Okay. All right. So this is another one where I got to kind of apologize. I gave J.J. McCarthy a lot of flack. I said he was the worst pick in that draft. He's been playing well the past couple games. Mind you, against subpar defenses, whatever, but he has been playing decent. And there's no reason why he won't play good against New York's defense if you're going by the last couple games, right? Again, I'm still not 100% sold on him, but this will be a nice matchup, him and Dart, to see what happens. Because at the end of the day, I think Dart, coming out of this past year's draft, is the best one. I think he's better than Ward. I think he's better than Shadur. He's more electrifying, Well, I can't say Shadur yet because we really didn't see him play a full season. But this year, I would have to give Dart, I would say he's better than Cam Ward. So who do we have winning this game? Just because Minnesota's an overall better team, I'll give it to them, right? But this game could go either or, because when the Giants want to step up, they'll definitely step up. They've had a couple upsets this season too. So, but neither of these teams have anything to play for, so it'll be a good matchup to see who comes out on top. But for this one, I might have to go with the Vikings. Moment of silence for the Kansas City Chiefs and my Super Bowl pick for this year. Goodbye. That was my Super Bowl pick, the Rams and the Chiefs. Now the Chiefs are out of there. So, really sorry about what happened to Mahomes. He tore, I guess, his MCL and his LCL, or whatever you call it. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But the second one he tore was supposedly the one that's going to take the longest to heal. So, oh boy. It would have been bad enough if they didn't make the playoffs. But to lose your quarterback like that and risk him not even making it to the beginning of next year, I mean, that's messed up. That's messed up. So I wish him a speedy recovery. Now, okay, first I'll talk about this game real quick because it really doesn't matter. They both stink right now. I think just because you got Reed and Spagnuolo, I'm gonna give them the win over the Titans, but you never know what could happen with the Titans. I mean, I don't know. The Titans are just all around bad. The Chiefs can beat them with the backup, but as far as the Chiefs go, this is what irritates me about mainstream media, right? Every time the Chiefs have a bad situation, oh, the dynasty's over. Oh, Andy Reid needs to get fired. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Listen, they have one common denominator, and that is Mahomes. To say Andy Reid needs to get fired is ridiculous. He has won without Mahomes, remember? Alex Smith? You guys remember? Saying the dynasty is over just because they missed the playoffs one season is not fair. It's like people just want clickbait, right? If Mahomes can return to 100%, if Reed decides to stay a few more years, if Spagnuolo decides to stay a few more years, the Chiefs will always be in the mix. Everybody's just so quick to write them off. Look how wide open the AFC is now that they're not even in the picture. So, but as I said, the injury that Mahomes faced, that could derail the dynasty if he can't come back to his pure form. Because I was watching one of Shannon Sharp's podcasts, Nightcap. Shout out to Unc. He said that's his left leg. I guess that's his planting leg, right? And he throws with his right arm if he's right-handed. So that could really affect Mahomes' whole game because you see him scrambling a lot, but his bread and butter is his arm. Mahomes has a cannon. He has a cannon. So if he can't be full form with that, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, that changes the dynamics to everything. He's not going to be able to make them crazy cross the body throws, opposite end of the field, on one leg, sideways, doing all that. I mean, this is just a very sad injury. But I don't want to write him off yet. I know he's a fighter. And what I'm saying is, every top team has a quarterback. Look at the New England Patriots. As long as they had Brady, they were in the mix. They had some down years. They had some off years. Then they turned around and won 3 more. We had one of the greatest comebacks ever. The greatest comeback ever in Super Bowl history, in any history. As long as Mahomes is healthy, that dynasty ain't going nowhere, y'all. He is still the MJ of the NFL. The issue is, like I said, as long as he's healthy. And no, I don't think Reed should get fired. Reed is an excellent coach. I don't think Spagnuolo should get fired, obviously. They just gotta... the receivers, they can't catch the ball for the receivers. Think about it. Kelsey's been dropping. Worthy's been dropping. Pacheco, Rice, everybody's been dropping. They don't even have a solid rusher. Kareem Hunt is a good runner, right? Shout out to Kareem Hunt. He's a nice little comeback story after the adversity he faced. Whatever. But he only has 557 yards with 8 touchdowns. Do you understand? They don't have a leading rusher, and they want Mahomes to do everything because their receivers aren't catching the ball. They've had some critical drops last game where they needed to win. They've had some critical... The past 2 games, they've been dropping like balls like crazy. Pause. So, no, the dynasty is not over. Y'all got to pump the brakes. Stop jumping to conclude. I guess they got to do it because they got to... I mean, these big media companies, they don't need views. I mean, they're going to get views regardless. So I don't know. I don't know why everyone's so quick to write the Chiefs off. But that's just my opinion on that. Easy win against Tennessee. Oh, Okay, there are two things we want to talk about here. Y'all remember a couple episodes ago, I made a wager. Who's going to go first? Is either Tua going to get benched or is McDaniels going to get fired? Well, looks like Tua got benched first. But like I said, you better believe the minute the last NFL game is played, McDaniels is out of there. They're not even going to... Literally, the minute everything stops, McDaniels fired by the Dolphins. I'm calling it. Who want to bet me? But as far as the season goes, it looks like he's going to make it to the end of the year, and Tua's not. They benched Tua. I didn't think that would happen because they put so much money into him. I thought they'd fire McDaniels first. But maybe they want to protect his trade value. I don't think with his injury history and the way he's been playing lately, he has that much trade value. Maybe he can be a good backup somewhere else, you know. But I don't know how they're going to rework his deal or whatever. But, you know, as I said on a lot of episodes, Tua is not that guy, right? And McDaniels, his magic ran out. So, bad situation for the Dolphins. But, yep, they're going to start Ewers. I don't even know how you say his name. The rookie from Texas who started against Archie Manning. I mean, who was a starter while Manning was the backup back in Texas. So, yeah. Which I don't think he's good either. They'll probably throw Tua right back in there. But it doesn't matter. Dolphins are out. I mean, they're 6-7, you know, whatever. But, yeah. And the Bengals, talk about drama. All right. So this is something I wanted to say, right? Joe Cool. Joe Burrow. I have been one of your biggest supporters. I've always said at any given season, you could be the best quarterback in the league. And overall, your top 3 best quarterback in the league is basically Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow, and Jackson. That might change now, right? With Jackson kind of being a little inconsistent. But that's another conversation for another day, right? But it's always been you, Allen, Jackson, and Mahomes. You are that good. But why are you starting to drop hints that you don't want to be in Cincinnati anymore? Like it's their fault. Yes, they should work on their defense, 100%. But Burrow, you don't have a leg to stand on. You've been in the league for 6 seasons and you've been hurt 3 of those 6 seasons. Why are you talking? Don't throw your franchise under the bus. Cincinnati will only go as far as you take them. Yes, they need to improve their defense. And you're that great of a quarterback that if their defense is even in the top 15, forget top 10, you could take them to the Super Bowl probably. No one is denying your talent. But the best ability is availability. And if I were the Bengals, I would start questioning you. Why are you hating on your team and being slick? And dang, bro. You're hurt half the time. You're a very, not fragile, you know. You're a tough quarterback, but you just keep getting hurt. You don't have a leg to stand on, bro. You just came back from your injury. And a couple games ago, you threw 2 interceptions. It was your fault they lost. But that doesn't mean that will never take away from your talent as a quarterback. Again, you are that top-tier quarterback that everyone aspires to be. The one that I says Sam Darnold isn't. Daniel Jones isn't. All those other quarterbacks that are having great years, I'm saying they're not top-tier like Burrow and Allen and Mahomes and Lamar, right? You're that guy. We understand that. But you're hurt, bro. You get hurt every other year. Stop throwing your franchise under the bus. Stay healthy for 2 years, then you can start talking. Then you can start criticizing. But yes, right message, wrong messenger. The Bengals have to do something about their defense because they have an absolute amazing offense. top tier. Burrow, Chase, Higgins, maybe get a better running back. They're the real deal on offense. But yes, they have to do better on the defense. Right message, wrong messenger. Tighten up, Mr. Burrow. All right. So who we got next? Oh, boy. This is another one. You know, Kirk Cousins is having his little resurgence. That makes no difference. The Cardinals, you know, they shut down Murray for the rest of the year. I think it was a healthy scratch, but they're saying his leg hasn't healed the way it was supposed to. Whatever. They're going to get him out of there, too. That's another Tua, right? He is not the guy. Another undersized quarterback that relies on hero ball to get things done, right? And don't get me wrong, he's shown some signs of greatness, but he's not it. He's another one that's talking too much and complaining and, you know, get him out of there, right? So I don't even know who to pick for this game. Atlanta's been wanting to play spoiler lately, so I guess I'll give it to Atlanta, especially with Cousins' veteran presence. And if the you like that Cousins shows up, then, you know, that'll be an easy win for the Falcons. So not much to say about that game. Ooh. Damn. Now, if we spoke at the beginning of the year, do you think we'd be having this conversation about how good Jacksonville and Denver have been playing? Do you think we'll have that conversation? Jacksonville is 10-4. Denver is 12-2, the best record in the league. Who would have thought? If you ask me, I thought Jacksonville would have made it to 500 and Denver would have been like, you know, 10-4 at this stage in the season. This is incredible how they're both playing. But I just think Denver, they're just way too overmatched. I mean, the Jacksonville is way too overmatched. I'm gonna give this one to Denver. Points per game, that doesn't mean much because, you know, Knicks will turn it up when he has to. Yards per game, pretty much the same. Time of possession, you know, it's pretty much the same. But the defensive sacks, 58 sacks. So you think Trevor Lawrence is going to be good against that pass rush? You know, Trevor Lawrence is inconsistent. So I'm going to have to just give this one to Denver. They're just an overall better team. They're just an overall better team. And with that said, I do think Jacksonville will win the AFC South, even though Houston is knocking on their door. But Denver, this game, sorry, Jacksonville. You know, I don't see y'all winning this one. Oh, boy. This is another really crazy one of two teams that had high expectations but are underperforming. The Lions and the Steelers, right? Who are you going to pick in this one? You know, it's not like the Lions have been playing bad, you know, but who do you pick? I don't know who you pick. Well, they'll be in Detroit, right? And on paper, their numbers are better. But the Lions are in disarray, right? And you don't know which Pittsburgh Steelers are going to show up. If Rodgers does what he's supposed to do, right? And the Steelers defense does what they're supposed to do, this should be easy. Right? This should be easy for the Steelers, but we're not talking about potential here. We're talking about consistency. And even though the Lions lost a few games that they shouldn't have, they've been overall consistent this year. So with them going to home field, but the thing is, Pittsburgh has so much pressure to win their division. And remember, like I said about Tampa Bay and Carolina. The Pittsburgh and the Ravens have been getting in their own way. The division was gift wrapped for either team, and they just find a way to lose and make it interesting, right? Who do I pick? I think Detroit, I'm not going to say they don't have much to play for, but if they win out, they're still going to be, unless Chicago and Green Bay loses out, they're still going to be behind those two teams, you know? They're fighting for a playoff spot. Pittsburgh is fighting for their division. I really don't know who to pick, y'all. Let's flip a coin. All right, I'm going to go with the Lions. I'm going to pick the Lions because it's just the Lions are fighting for the playoffs, and it's going to be a tough game, but if Rodgers shows up, man, if Rodgers and Metcalf and everybody does their Metcalf, you know, it could be tough for the Lions because when it gets tough, the Lions end up giving in, you know? So I'm going to have to go with the Lions, even though I don't like this pick. And let's go back to that division. As far as Baltimore, the AFC North, right? They're literally one game behind. Baltimore's literally one game behind Pittsburgh, right? It's literally, and they got to face New England. Ooh. So I guess the question is who's going to win the AFC North? I guess I'll still give it to Pittsburgh because Lamar's been inconsistent also, and he has to face the Patriots. But the Patriots will be in Baltimore. Anyway, I'll get to that when I talk about the Ravens game. But for this game, I got Detroit beating Pittsburgh. Raiders versus Houston. You know, maybe the Raiders want to play spoiler, but at the end of the day, that's an easy win for the Texans. They're chasing Jacksonville to win the AFC South, and with Indianapolis out of the picture, that should give them a little more motivation to be hungrier because Jacksonville, in my opinion, is going to lose to Denver. So they could be tied for first in the division if Houston wins this one. So I just don't see. I don't see the Raiders doing anything. Even if they want to play spoiler, they just suck so bad. I just don't see them doing anything. Sorry, Las Vegas. All right. New England versus Baltimore. Now back to my AFC North conversation. And I did mention this when I was talking about Burrow. Lamar Jackson is another one of those quarterbacks that you got jockeying for the top spot in the league, right? He always has been. There was him, Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen, right? We know this, right? The problem is Lamar has been super inconsistent and he hasn't been healthy. And when you look at the Patriots, what happened when they faced the Bills? It was all about Josh Allen. He showed them why he was always in that top 3 conversation of quarterbacks, top 4 conversation, right? Lamar's in that same conversation. Can he get back to that form against the Pats? If they don't win out, you're going to have to start looking at Lamar like, is he really our guy? Or not? He is the guy, but is he really as good as we expected him to be? I mean, he is electrifying. His passing game is improved. His rushing game is improved. He just can't get it together. Whether it be injuries or inconsistent games, we don't know which Lamar is going to show up this year. And if he's not pulling what he normally does, like a Josh Allen did, where you can take the game on his back, we can't put him in that conversation with Burrow and Mahomes and all that anymore. But if he figures out a way to win this game and takes the division, he'll be right back in that mix. If not, there's going to be a lot of questions in the offseason because they still got a chance. They're only one game apart. They're only one game behind the Steelers. So this game is going to be make or break for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson's image, in my opinion. Right? And I don't want to just throw in a towel on him for one season, but we've seen him make mistakes in the playoffs throughout the years. We've seen him have MVP years only to lose in the postseason. We got to start having a different conversation with him also. But when he's on, he's on. And if he's on, he will beat the Patriots. Because that's exactly what Allen did. It's going to come straight down to the quarterback. But the Ravens do have a bad defense, just like the Bills, right? So you will see the Patriots' youth. This could be a showing of their youth if Lamar runs all over them and throws all over them, and Henry too. Or this could be their, hey, listen, we lost to the Bills, but we're still a top team if they can beat the Ravens. So there's a lot at stake for both. I mean, not going to say a lot at stake for the Patriots because they're still going to go to the playoffs no matter what. But the Ravens, their backs are against the wall. The faith in their quarterback is against the wall. So Lamar's got to show out. With that said, who do I pick? In my opinion, I think Lamar will have a good game, but not enough to will the Ravens to victory because I just think the Pats are just too well-rounded. So I'm going with the Patriots. But if Lamar wins, that will definitely, put some fire under Pittsburgh for sure, especially if Pittsburgh loses to Detroit, right? So, all right, who we got next? San Fran versus the Colts. You got big old Rivers in there, man. Did y'all see him? When he tried to do a step back and move in the pocket, he just fell. Oh, man. Easy win for San Francisco, and we will see. We're going to see the Colts slip. You know what I'm saying? We're going to watch them slip in the AFC South. It's going to be between the Jaguars and the Texans, and the Texans might tie them this week. But at the end of the day, it's just a sad situation for the Colts. And even if Rivers does give them a couple wins and sneaks in the playoffs, it's going to be, they're not going to go far, So, easy win for San Fran. They're in a very crowded division, but they're still 10-4. They've figured out a way to win with all their injuries. Salute to Shanahan. I give him a lot of flack, but he might be coach of the year, to be honest, to win with this bunch. So, easy win for them. I feel like they're going to beat the Colts. All right. Oh, and I think that's it. Y'all. So, thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully, y'all enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'm going to take my dog to the park. And, yeah. Well, speaking of which, see y'all later.